What you eat every day could be making you sick, and you might not even realize it. These foods look harmless, they're everywhere, and many even carry the label of being healthy. But the body isn't fooled for long. It feels it, it reacts. The problem isn't what you eat occasionally, it's what you eat constantly. And there are 9 hidden villains quietly draining your energy, disrupting your hormones, and sabotaging your health from the inside out. Stay with me until the end, because once you discover what's really behind them, you may never look at your plate the same way again. The United States is living through a silent epidemic. Every corner is filled with overflowing shelves, yet the population is sicker, more tired, and more inflamed than ever. What looks like abundance is actually the reflection of a generation fed by toxic foods, meals that fill the stomach but drain vitality. It's easy to blame sugar, calories, or a sedentary lifestyle, but the hole goes much deeper. The real problem hides inside invisible formulas, labels no one understands, and ingredients with names that sound more like chemical experiments than actual food. It's as if dinner has turned into a disguised laboratory. Before we go on, I want to invite you to be part of this movement. If this topic resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're watching from. It's amazing to see how far this awareness is spreading. Out of this scenario came the RFK Jr. Health Movement, a call to make America healthy again. The focus isn't on trends, it's about awakening. It's about showing that behind every colorful package lies an industry that learned how to sell convenience at the cost of health itself. It's about reclaiming control over what goes on the plate and into the body. Think about it. If the foundation of your energy comes from artificial substances, what's left for the rest of your life? What happens when even milk, bread, and breakfast become part of a global experiment? Keep that question in mind, because the next step will show how something seemingly harmless, light milk, became a symbol of one of the biggest illusions in the food industry. For years, whole milk was painted as the villain of health. The food industry convinced the public that fat was dangerous and created the light version as the new standard of purity. But when they removed the fat, they also stripped away enzymes, vitamins, and flavor, leaving behind a pale liquid that deceives the body while soothing the conscience. To restore the lost taste, they began adding sugar, stabilizers, and synthetic vitamins. The result was an artificially balanced product that disrupts metabolism and confuses hunger and satiety signals. It's the old story of less is more, turning into less is worse. And as studies show, long-term consumption of these products can increase appetite and cause glucose spikes. Imagine a farmer from the 1950s stumbling upon a modern carton of light milk. He would be stunned. The milk he drew from the cow was full of life, healthy fats, and natural probiotics. Today, that real food is treated as a threat, while a processed mixture pasteurized to the core is sold as a symbol of health. These are the food industry's secrets that shaped generations. Fear became marketing. The natural was demonized to promote the synthetic, trading vitality for appearance. But the story doesn't end here, because if milk was the first disguise, French fries reveal how far convenience can go when chemistry takes control. Hot, crispy, and irresistible, they sit on the throne of convenience foods. But behind that tempting aroma lies a laboratory of substances few people notice, an empire of hidden chemicals in food that mask artificial flavor and feed addiction. The problem isn't the potato itself, it's the process. Every serving carries refined oils and additives like dimethylpolysilicon and dextrose, used to maintain identical color and texture all over the world. These substances, though approved in small doses, have been linked by studies to chronic inflammation and insulin resistance. And that's what fuels the paradox. The more perfect the fry, the further it drifts from nature. The body doesn't truly recognize what it's eating, it only reacts. The flavor hits fast, the pleasure fades quickly, but the inflammation stays. It's like paying off a loan with extremely high interest, only this time the currency is your own energy. The solution doesn't demand sacrifice, it demands awareness. Making fries at home, cooked in animal fat or avocado oil, restores real flavor and eliminates chemical excess. The difference is clear. Less shine, more life. And this rediscovery of the natural world is the first step toward understanding how even fish are now being turned into laboratory products. Salmon has always been a symbol of purity and strength, a fish that fights against the current to be born and die in freedom. But what reaches most tables today is no longer that wild creature. It's a farmed product fed with artificial pellets and synthetic pigments to maintain the pink hue that nature once produced through crustaceans and algae. These farmed versions contain up to 16 times more PCBs, cancer-causing compounds recognized by the WHO, than wild salmon. On top of that, the use of antibiotics disrupts the gut microbiome and reduces bacterial diversity in the human body. The fish still looks healthy, but its nutritional DNA has been completely rewritten. Pattern interrupt. In 2019, a family from Alaska decided to taste real salmon. They caught a wild one, cooked it over an open flame, and described the experience as another universe. The flavor was rich, fatty, almost sweet, nothing like the salty, dry fillets sold in supermarkets. That was when they realized they had been eating a copy, not real food. Farmed salmon has become a mirror of modern industry, perfect in appearance but empty in essence. The low price comes with a hidden cost, one paid through health, biodiversity, and the illusion that everything beautiful must be good. But if the ocean has been recreated in tanks, what does that say about what we do inside our own homes? The answer bursts inside the microwave. Microwave popcorn seems like the most harmless snack in the world. It's convenient, cheap, and always there, ready to join a movie night. But what few people realize is that the danger doesn't come from the corn itself, but from the bag that holds it. It contains compounds like PFOA and diacetyl, which have been linked to respiratory diseases and even cancer, according to studies from the Environmental Protection Agency. These chemicals are released into the air and into the kernels when heated, turning a moment of leisure into an involuntary dose of contamination. The artificial aroma that fills the room is part of the problem. It masks the presence of toxic substances that the body gradually accumulates over time. It's the kind of pleasure that leaves invisible traces. For years, workers in popcorn factories developed a condition known as popcorn lung, caused by constant inhalation of diacetyl. The name sounds almost ironic, but it's real, and it was the warning that revealed the hidden cost of modern convenience. What we call comfort might literally be in the air we breathe. Making natural popcorn at home has become an act of resistance. Organic kernels, an iron pot, and a spoonful of coconut oil bring the flavor back and remove the risk. Small choices like this mark the beginning of a greater awareness. And it's exactly that awareness that will be put to the test with the next food, where even a simple tomato can hide a chemical enemy. They are symbols of health and simplicity, but when sealed inside cans lined with BPA, they become the opposite of what they represent. This chemical compound, classified as an endocrine disruptor, can interfere with hormonal regulation, alter metabolism, and promote weight gain, creating a silent and cumulative effect. The tomato's natural acidity makes the problem worse. It dissolves part of the can's inner coating, releasing BPA directly into the food. It's as if every sauce carried an invisible trace of contamination, something the eyes can't see, but the body can feel. And this happens every day in millions of kitchens around the world. Glass, on the other hand, is neutral. It doesn't react, doesn't contaminate, and preserves the real flavor of the tomato. Choosing glass containers or preparing fresh sauce at home is a simple way to escape this modern trap. It's not an expensive change, just a shift in perspective, stepping out of autopilot and returning to trust what's alive. The industry sells convenience, but the cost is biological. Small habits, repeated over years, shape the body's destiny. And if even the tomato has been turned into a chemical carrier, imagine what happens when something sold as a healthy snack also hides its own nutritional lie. Energy bars emerged as the symbol of modern, healthy living. They're convenient, beautifully packaged, and promise instant energy. But in reality, many of them are more like disguised candy, loaded with maltodextrin, sucralose, and emulsifiers that imitate nutrition without truly providing biological value. Studies show that the glycemic impact of certain bars can be as high as that of regular chocolate. The difference is that marketing dresses them in virtue. The promise of zero sugar or high protein hides a simple truth. Most of these products are designed to create dependency, not nourishment. The rule is clear. The more ingredients you can't pronounce, the further you are from real food. Bars with just 3 or 4 components, like oats, honey, and nuts, already do the job without deceiving the body. Nutrition doesn't need to come in a sophisticated label, it needs to come in the form of truth. It's in this boundary between the real and the synthetic that modern confusion lives. When even a so-called healthy snack becomes a trap, it becomes clear that the industry doesn't sell well-being, it sells sensation. And the next sensation is even sweeter, the toxic glow hidden in the candies and confections that light up store shelves. The shine of colorful candies hides something few people notice. Titanium dioxide, responsible for that bright white glow, is a substance linked to cellular damage and inflammation. Europe has already banned its use in food, but in the United States, it remains both invisible and legal. Studies show that continuous exposure to titanium dioxide can cause DNA alterations and affect the immune system. It's the kind of detail that slips by unnoticed because sweetness tricks the brain and dulls the sense of risk. Eating feels like pleasure, but it's also a silent, packed with the unknown. Here lies the irony of modernity. The products are identical, yet their toxicity changes from one country to another. The same candy that delights a child in France is banned, while in the United States, it's sold in 1 kilogram jars. Different regulations, identical bodies, and the same outcome: inflammation on a global scale. These small daily concessions build an invisible chain of chemical dependence. Sugar is the hook, additives are the knot. And if even the most innocent candy can hide poison, imagine what happens when cheese itself stops being cheese and turns into a laboratory invention. American cheese is the perfect example of how the industry turned food into a product. It shines, melts perfectly, and has an impeccable color. It's behind that flawless appearance lies a cocktail of emulsifiers, colorants, and vegetable oils, a food that lost its soul and gained a shelf life. The creamy texture and smooth taste don't come from milk, but from chemistry. That's why this cheese melts without bubbling and never truly spoils. It's designed to survive rather than nourish, and that changes everything. It's the triumph of engineering over nature, disguised as convenience. Raw and naturally aged cheeses, on the other hand, still carry live enzymes, beneficial bacteria, and micronutrients the body recognizes. The contrast is striking: on one side synthetic color, on the other biological complexity. The difference lies between feeding the body and merely filling it. American cheese has become a symbol of an era that idolizes the artificial, an era where flavor is calibrated and human instinct is silenced. But the story grows darker when we look beyond appearance, when the very concept of protein turns into poison in disguise. Cold cuts, sausages, and processed meats have long been sold as convenient sources of protein. They're found in lunchboxes, cafeterias, and rushed breakfasts. But behind their innocent appearance, these products hide nitrates and nitrites that, once inside the body, turn into nitrosamines, compounds recognized as carcinogenic by the World Health Organization. The real issue is habit, not chance. Eating a sandwich with deli meat once a week might seem harmless, but daily consumption turns the body into fertile ground for inflammation. Studies suggest that these substances can disrupt the gut microbiome and overburden the liver, affecting metabolism over time. The industry knows this, but it has mastered the art of using marketing to its advantage. Labels with words like premium, artisanal, or natural often mask identical industrial processes. That smoky flavor so many people love often comes not from fire, but from synthetic liquid smoke. It's an illusion carefully seasoned. The real question isn't, is this harmful, but how much more of this can your body handle? Because the next step in this chain isn't just about health, it's about culture. About how haste became a religion and eating well turned into a luxury. Modern life has turned haste into a virtue. Today, time is the new currency, and anything that promises speed gains instant value. But every ready in 2 minutes meal comes with an invisible price: chronic inflammation, fatigue, and food dependence. Convenience has become a sophisticated form of self-sabotage. The false science of practicality creates the illusion of efficiency. It promises energy, focus, and well-being, but delivers exhaustion and hormonal imbalance. And what's most striking is that many people genuinely believe they're making the right choice, because marketing has learned to use the language of health to sell the opposite of it. Think of the slogans: fit, balance, smart choice. They all sound harmless, yet they hide the same problem: overprocessing and the absence of real life on the plate. Eating stopped being a biological act and became a logistical one. A meal is no longer a ritual, it's a task. And it's precisely this boundary that the final topic reveals: the thin line between what is still food and what has become merely an edible product. A small difference on the shelf, but a massive one in biology. Today, the boundary between what is food and what is a product has almost disappeared. Store shelves are full, yet much of what we buy isn't food. It's a chemical construction engineered to have the perfect color, taste, and aroma. The body recognizes the shape but senses the emptiness inside. Real nutrition isn't just energy, it's biological information. Every cell understands what you eat, translates nutrients into commands, and keeps the system running. When what reaches it is synthetic, the body becomes confused, reacts, inflames, and tries to defend itself. The problem isn't too much food, it's the lack of life within it. And this is where awareness becomes a survival tool. Relearning how to choose living, fresh, and earth-grown foods is more than an act of health. It's an act of clarity in a world that profits from distraction. Eating well has become a form of counterculture. The question now isn't what to avoid, but what to reconnect with. Because understanding the difference between food and product is the first step toward reclaiming your vitality. In the end, it's not about cutting everything out of your life. It's about opening your eyes. Every meal is a choice, and the sum of those choices builds the body, the mind, and the energy that sustain you. What you ate today, was it fuel or poison? The good news is that awareness is power. Once you understand what's behind the industry and its labels, you start taking back control. Small changes, a homemade sauce, stovetop popcorn, real cheese, already begin to transform your biology and the way your body responds to the world. But I want to hear from you. Which of these foods do you eat the most in your daily life? And which one are you ready to cut out starting now? Share it in the comments below. That's how real change begins, by sharing real experiences. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep learning how to reconnect food and true health. This content is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Results may vary. Always consult a healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet or training routine.